The cold wind sliced through the hospital parking lot, cutting sharply through my thin jacket as I gripped the phone. The sharp scent of disinfectant clung to my clothes, a harsh reminder of the sterile room where I had just lost both my parents. My father's final words, soft and fragmented, kept replaying in my mind, while my mother's labored breathing had ceased only moments before. I dialed my wife, desperate for her voice, for some comfort after 12 years of what I thought was a steady, if unremarkable, marriage. Instead, her words came clipped and cold. "We're at my cousin's engagement party," she said, her voice distant and distracted. The background was filled with a faint pop of champagne corks and forced laughter. No pause, no sympathy. No, "Are you okay?" Just an indifferent noise that felt like a slap to my already shattered heart. When she mentioned cutting the cake, I stood frozen, feeling the ground shift beneath me. Not like a sudden earthquake, but a slow, creeping fracture, like cracks spreading beneath the polished surface of the life we had built together. Elena and I had a life, nothing flashy, but solid. I worked long hours at the firm while she managed the house, and our daughter Leia, who was the only true light in our home. I told myself Elena's cold response was just a momentary lapse, a distraction caused by the chaos around her. But the signs had been there all along, piling up like unpaid bills. Her silence is growing heavier, her gaze sliding past me when I spoke, her phone always face down, its screen a locked vault. I came home late one night to find 2 coffee mugs in the sink. One was smudged with lipstick, not hers. When I asked, Elena simply said her cousin preferred tea that day. I didn't push. I didn't argue. But I watched, growing more suspicious by the day. Then the estate documents arrived, dragging grief back into sharp focus. My parents had left a modest inheritance, enough to secure Leia's future. But Elena didn't hesitate. One evening, she breezed into my office, her tone casual but her eyes sharp and calculating. "So, are we putting in a joint account?" she asked, as if discussing groceries or bills. The question hit me like a blade. I looked at her, really looked, and saw not my wife but a stranger, cold and detached, already calculating her share. I asked if she would sit with Leia and explain why her first thought after her grandparents' deaths was about money. She scoffed at me, called me theatrical, and walked out. The next morning, Leia handed me a crayon drawing. Simple stick figures, but children see what adults pretend to ignore. It showed her mother holding hands with a man I didn't know. I didn't confront Elena then. Instead, I planned. Step 1. I secured the inheritance and a trust for Leia, locked tight with legal steel, untouchable until she turned 21. Step 2. I hired a discreet attorney, someone skilled at unearthing secrets, bank statements, phone records, travel itineraries. What we uncovered painted a picture uglier than I'd imagined. For months, Elena had been siphoning funds. Small amount at first, then bolder withdrawals. Step 3. I let her believe I was crumbling. I stayed late at work, forgot errands, faded into the background of our home. She grew careless, confident I was too broken to notice. She started inviting the man over when she thought I was away. The memorial service came and went. Elena wore a black dress, shed tears on cue, but never asked about my parents' wishes. Days later, at the dining table, she leaned forward, voice rehearsed, and said, "I think we should split evenly. You know, as a team." Before I could respond, Leia walked in clutching a manila envelope, her small face steady. She looked her mother in the eye and said, "That's why you're here, isn't it?" She placed the envelope in Elena's lap. Inside were photos, her and the man, along with hotel receipts and text messages I had printed. Elena's hands trembled. Her face paled as she stammered, "You spied on me." I didn't flinch. "I paid attention," I said quietly. "Something you forgot how to do." She stood, ready to shout, but I cut her off. "You betrayed us. You lied. You tried to take from your own daughter." I nodded toward the door. "Leave. Pack what dignity you have left." The divorce papers arrived the next morning. She fought the trust, claimed I had manipulated her. But my attorney was ready. We had evidence, photos, witnesses, financial trails. The judge barely hid her disdain as Elena's story unraveled. She left the courtroom empty-handed. No alimony, no access to the trust, just a reputation in tatters. Her lover, it turned out, had a fiancé who wasn't as restrained as I was. Leah and I moved into my parents' old cottage, a quiet refuge surrounded by whispering pines and chirping sparrows. Her drawings now showed just two figures, both smiling. Sometimes I catch glimpses of Elena online. New city, new look, same hollow ambition. People ask how I kept my composure, how I didn't lash out. I tell them, vengeance isn't about chaos. It's about precision, about reclaiming what's yours from someone who thought you were too lost to notice. That night, when Leah handed her mother that envelope, she did something I never taught her. She faced a lie head-on and spoke the truth without flinching. That's why you're here, isn't it? No anger, no fear, just clarity. I used to believe loss breaks you. Now I know it sharpens you. Elena came for a share. She left with nothing. I kept what truly mattered. Leah, my integrity, and the quiet strength to move forward.